Hey everybody, I'm Rick Beato. On today's Everything Music, it's What Makes This Song Great, episode 60. The band is at the drive-in and the song is One Arm Scissor, coming up next. One Arm Scissor was the first single off the Relationship of Command record, which was released in... Well, the single came out on August 7th, 2000. It was produced by Ross Robinson and is a great example of post-hardcore music. Now, for those of you that may not be familiar with At the Drive-In, if you know the Mars Volta, two of the members, the singer Cedric Bixler Zavala and guitarist Omar Rodrigues Lopez, are in both bands. It's really the antithesis of what I was talking about in my recent video, how computers ruined rock music. Or I should have probably called it how producers and A&R guys ruined rock music. But the results were the same. This is really a great example of raw, visceral rock. Let's check out the intro. Yes, this is the campaign slithered in trails in the cargo bay. Okay, so what do you notice right from the top? Well, it sounds really aggressive, but if you actually solo the tracks, check it out. This is the guitar on the right. Listen. It's actually really out of tune, but you don't really notice it when you put the guitar on the left in. Let me just play it by itself. Okay, so they're both playing two kind of different things. It starts out with an E minor 7 chord on the one guitar. The guitar on the right, you got this thing going on. So, the other guitar is playing... actually adding that G in it. But when you get to here, to the picking part, it goes, there's an E major chord there that's going on over this A minor 7-9 chord. It's really, really discordant, and it sounds killer. Listen to them together, but they're both kind of out of tune a little bit. Now, when I actually play the mix, this is actually the mix together. What I'm playing is the actual isolated tracks. Here's the mix, listen. It sounds amazing. You don't even notice those pitch discrepancies at all. Now, when it plays those harmonics, check it out. Here's this harmonic on one side. I mean, there's a chorus on the guitar, very heavy chorus, but it's out of tune. Okay, so here's the other guitar, but it doesn't matter. That one's out of tune too a little bit, right? These things don't matter. People that fix this stuff and spend hours tuning things, doing all this stuff, once it's in the mix and it blends together, nobody notices. Now, the song was mixed by Andy Wallace. He's one of my favorite mixers ever. And there's something you can hear. If you listen to the bass by itself, here's the bass part. It's a good aggressive amp tone. It sounds like with a DI, but when you hear it in the mix, this is Andy's mix. And then right here, yes, this is the campaign slithered in trails in the cargo bay. You can hear there's a chorus on the bass. It's in stereo. Andy uses this program from the SPX90 called Symphonic, which is like a flange, but it actually makes the bass move from side to side. It makes it stand out. When it goes into that verse, the bass sounds incredible. Listen. Yes, this is the campaign slithered in trails in the cargo bay. Now, if I solo the bass in that spot, here's the bass by itself. You notice it doesn't have chorus. It's a great tone. It's a really great tone, but it's not in stereo and doesn't have that chorus on it. So the mixing of the song actually helps blend those things together. Any of those pitch discrepancies don't matter. Another thing that you notice is that there's no grid on this. They're just playing. This has not been edited. Slows down a little bit there. Slows down a little bit. Well, what else do you notice? You can hear the vocals in the background of the drums, of the room sound. So he's singing along with the drums, right? They're all in one room doing this. You can tell this as the drums keep going. You can hear that vocal bleeding through the room mics. Okay, this is just live playing, which is why it sounds so intense. Now, there's one other part that happens in the verse here. It's this little auxiliary guitar. Let me play it out of context, then in context. Yes, this is the Tell me if you can hear that. It's a crescendoing guitar. Listen. Yes, this is the campaign slithered in trails in the cargo bay. You almost don't really hear it. Now let me actually play Andy's mix of it, because those are the raw tracks. Here's the mix. A new turd is a bassnet's hollow vacuum, chop the oxygen tanks. You also notice that it's in a triple meter. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or you could say it's in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hear it in 3 though, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. A new turd is a bassnet's hollow vacuum, chop the oxygen tanks. Let's just solo the vocals here and listen to the verse. Yes, this is the campaign slithered in trails in the cargo bay. So that's a doubled vocal, right? Let's listen to the second line here. A new turd is a vastness, hollow vacuum, check the oxygen tanks. These have no pitch correction on them. They're not super tight. The doubles aren't. This is just all vibe. Here's a little clip with producer Ross Robinson describing what he tries to get out of a vocal performance.
A big part of my records is the vocals, the intensity and the sound, you know, just I always hope to capture the very best of whoever I'm recording so they'll never top it again.
You can really hear that on display in the chorus vocals. Let's check them out. Now! Let's solo the vocals and hear what they sound like in the chorus. Get away! Get away! Sad transmission from the one-up scissor! Get away! Get away! Sad transmission from the one-up scissor! You hear all that cymbal wash in there. That's sung with the drums going on at the same time in the same room. Just so you can hear the intensity of the rhythm section, let's roll the bass and drums in the chorus. Check it out. The intensity of it, the flow of it, that's really what I hear. I hear a flow. I hear something that's not connected to a beat map. I hear just guys in a room just playing and just rocking out on it. I mean, it's super, super intense. Let me put in the guitars here so you can hear it with the guitars as well. Check it out. There's a lot of restraint actually in the drum part on those. It's held back where it needs to be, and then it's back intense when it's back to riding the crash. What you probably didn't notice is that we actually went into 4/4 in the chorus. Also, this second verse and post-chorus is really interesting because it's in 4/2, but it has this almost like an odd meter vibe to it. Let me count it for you. Check it out. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, The tune kind of takes a progressive vibe here after the first chorus during this interlude, and it's very progressive for this post-hardcore sound. Let's listen to the second verse. I love it how the feel's different with the bass. Ba-bum, bum, ba-bum, bum. Let's check out this really cool guitar pattern going on in the second verse. It's really cool. It's got this octaver type of effect on it, but when you put it back in context with the mix, check it out. It actually flows perfectly. You don't even think about it. It's just this beautiful counter melody going against what the bass is doing, and it's so complementary to the vocal, I think. I love it. Next we have this pre-chorus that's different than the first pre-chorus, because there isn't really a pre-chorus like this. Let's check it out. I love it. The guitars actually open up in this section. Let's check them out. Now you can hear that it's got that echoplex that comes in on it, and it just makes the sound bloom really, really beautifully there. So we have the same da 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 into the second chorus, and the second chorus then comes out into the bridge. Let's check the bridge out. Right here. Let's check out this really hip drum pattern in the bridge. It's so clean, it almost sounds like a sequencer. It's really a great part. Let's hear it with a bass. Listen. Super tight. I mean, this is really, really tight. Let's check out the vocals in the bridge. It's a really angular melody, even though it actually follows the chord pattern pretty well until he goes, da. Let's check out the guitars by themselves in the bridge. I think it's a really, really hit pattern. Check it out. All those dun 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 are following the guitars that are in the left speaker. I mean, it's actually really well thought out. Here's this left speaker guitar. It's total chaos, but right in there. I mean, it really works well. The end of the bridge has this great climax part with this really long held vocal note. Let's check it out. We're right to remember. We're right to remember. Get away. Send transmission from the 106er. Amazing. Love this song. This was a real highlight to me of the early 2000s. When I heard it on the radio, it just jumped right out and grabbed my ears. It just had such a fresh, visceral sound to it. It kind of reminded me of Nirvana, but it was like Nirvana intensity, but with a progressive angle on it, just with weird guitar parts, different kind of drum parts, and this vocal that was even more out of control than Kurt Cobain's. There's one little cool part here that happens at the end. Love this. It's a little interlude that goes into the next song on the record, and it's really cool. That's all for now. Please subscribe here to my Everything Music YouTube channel. If you're interested in the Beato book, go to my website at www.rickbeato.com. You can now follow me on my new podcast. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, and the Google Play Store. Follow me on Instagram at rickbeato1. And if you really want to support the channel even more, you can become a member of the Beato Club. Thanks so much for watching.